TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 31. Flying solo today, TD Ryan and the Oak Tree of the News Department, Dan Lynch. Dan, how you doing?
Hi, TD. Nice to see you. You're on a lot. I see you all over Facebook. You like 14 podcasts a week now?
I'm a presence, right? I'm a presence, but I don't know if I'm not an influencer. Who the hell was the influencer? Media, for God's sake. And, of course, you got your bandwagon Bears hat on. Actually, yours is worn. That's at least 3-4 years old, right? So I'm proud of that. That's it.
I don't really care about the teams I grew up rooting for anymore, with the exception of the Bears. I don't know why. Maybe it's only because they play a few games a year as opposed to the other teams that play hundreds of games a year. But I'm still a Bears fan.
Yeah, you're right. The Bulls and Blackhawks, I could give these days. Just I peek in to see how they're doing. They're both below 500 and terrible. But they can be still low. But you're right. The Bears always had that, my dad went to 20 opening games back in the day, back in the 60s there when they played at Wrigley Field. And I think you carry that on. I mean, I think if your parents were passionate about the team. Now, do you instill that in the kids, or do you just get it naturally? Like for instance, do you got to watch the Bears game, that last one, the Bears game?
My kids watch it with me, and they are really into it. But before this year, TD, they were looking over at me like, Dad, does this team ever win?
That's right. Yeah, we were talking about bandwagon fans here off the air. Well, let's dive in. Now, I got some light stuff, and you got some heavier stuff, so let's take a look at the news.
A DeKalb man was at the center of two investigations last week. First, on January 7th, a woman reported that her boyfriend swiped her gun. According to arrest documents, it was just before 11:30 p.m. on the 7th when Adrian Doak apparently took his girlfriend's 9mm along with 2 boxes of ammunition from her bedroom. A day later, January 8th, just before midnight, DeKalb police were investigating a shots fired call. This was in the 300 block of Augusta Avenue, which is kind of west of the Elwood House neighborhood, maybe towards the university.
Okay.
Anyway, so they're investigating a shots fired call when they confront a 38-year-old, Mr. Doak, along with another person. Police say Doak was uncooperative during the apprehension, and arrest reports say that they found the stolen Taurus pistol under some leaves, apparently stashed. They also found a live round in his trousers. And sorry about that. Okay, let's regroup up here. Doak is now charged with possession of a gun and ammunition by a felon, and possession of a gun with no CCL and no FOID, and obstructing an officer. He has a previous felony conviction in DeKalb County for mob action way back in 2006, so 20 years ago.
Wow. Now, stealing a gun, that's got to be a big one there. And it's interesting. I was thinking when you said this is a legal gun that he stole, I was wondering, you steal an illegal gun. That's a whole different animal, right? But
right, because the girlfriend reported to police that it was taken, that it was swiped.
A little scary when you said she had 2 boxes of ammo in the bedroom there. I don't know what she was anticipating there, but can you? I think I asked you this before, and you're a gun owner. Can you buy as much ammunition as you want, or is there?
Yeah, but Illinois is, I think, was the first state to really impose sin taxes, and one of them was on bullets.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, in order to discourage people from owning guns.
How Illinoisan is that, direct? Just tax the hell out of it. Or you want to use it? Go ahead. We'll just tax the hell out of it. And that's what they
Yeah,
did.
so people generally would load up on bullets.
All right, that's good to know. All right, Luke Howison, again, a great guy. I always want to put an L in there. It's Howison, though. Was sworn in recently as the DeKalb Fire Chief in an article here in the Daily Chronicle. Great picture of his son, Luke, pinning his the pin on his dad there. Just a great shot there.
That was sweet.
Isn't that
I
sweet?
saw that picture.
And Luke is such a great guy. Matter of fact, we're going to urge people, if they want to hear from Luke, TD Ryan Unleashed podcast number 16 is with Luke Howison, and along with former Fire Chief Mike Thomas as well. During the meeting, Howison acknowledged the crowd. I love this. He said, "It's almost like we're voting for the data center here tonight in this room." So apparently there was a good crowd on hand. And still humorous, he also said, wehere's the second line from him? "I appreciate everyone for being here." He goes, "My first action as fire chief might be to clear this room as we are over occupancy." So apparently a lot of people showed up for the city council meeting to have Luke sworn in there. That's great to see that. And great to see his sense of humor there. With his appointment, he becomes the 21st leader of the DeKalb Fire Department, going back to 1869. And I was thinking, Dan, he has some pretty long runs here then, if we've only had 21 fire chiefs since 1869. So,
Okay.
that's great to know.
And I have this story too, TD.
Oh, you do? Okay.
He was the third fire chief within 5 years, though.
Yeah, see, how about that?
Okay.
Laney Russell was also there. We should mention another former fire chief as well.
Okay.
What do you got for that story? Do you
Just that he succeeds Mike Thomas, who retired on July 11th. But it's quite exciting, and he's sworn in by his son. But you had all the rest.
Yeah,
but,
this is a real good guy, too. And again, if you want to hear from Luke directly, you go to TD Ryan Unleashed podcast number 16 with Luke Hollison and former Fire Chief Mike Thomas as well. So, what else you got, sir?
City of DeKalb is applying for an EPA federal brownfield cleanup grant. This is not the Illinois EPA, but the federal EPA. This is to clean up contamination at what the locals refer to as Protano's Auto Salvage Site, which is on South 4th Street.
Yes, I'm a
in
local.
DeKalb.
And we still refer to it as that, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. I call it the site across from the Legion Hall.
Okay, well, that's a good way to describe it, yeah.
I've heard underground tanks and this and that, and
I actually watched the city council meeting on this. It was very interesting because you think about it, they had all these cars there, for decades there, and all the oil and stuff leaking into the ground. You can imagine the transmission fluid and stuff. And so
Yeah.
there's like a level of dirt and a level of contamination. So they got three things they can do. They could either cover it up, pave it over, because I guess it won't sink any lower because of the clay underneath, or they can rip it up, some of it up, and put something else down. I forget what the third. But the third one is just to take all the contaminated dirt out and bring in fresh dirt to the tune of about $200,000. But I figure if you're going to do it, that's the way you want to do it, right? I never realized that all those used cars sitting there with all that contamination leaking down.
yeah,
What else are you going to want to put there unless you clean that up?
right, and they refer to that as a brownfield, when a blighted area.
Oh, is that where that brownfield comes from? Okay.
Well, and it's more than just blighted, but there's in the soil. Yeah, there's contaminants.
Yeah.
In the soil. So
He really described it well, the guy at the city council meeting.
Yeah, once you go to enough meetings, they do become interesting, and you learn a lot.
Yeah.
So the city is seeking $2.6 million, which is available to remove the
That's the high-end one, yeah.
metals,
that takes all the stuff away and puts fresh dirt in.
PCBs. Yep. The city purchased the site in 2015, knocked down the structures in 2016, and it's all vacant due to EPA regulations. This is within TIF District 4, which is the newest TIF district in DeKalb. That stretch, TD, the vision, I've heard them say off the record, they want the sidewalk is really close to the cars zooming by.
Yes, I've walked that street before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they want to maybe condense that a little bit, maybe go 2 lanes and then add sidewalk. That's the vision of that area.
Of course, we're talking about where Lehan Drugs is over there, and then the junior high now.
Yeah,
Right.
down to Huntley there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
And also with the story, from my understanding at the meeting, was that there might be a grant involved. There might be either a state or a federal or a combination of the two, where it won't cost us $2.6 million. I think they said the city might have to kick in still several hundred thousand, but the bulk of it, $2 million,
Right.
might be taken care of with a grant. Would that be great?
So the city is the council voted to apply.
Okay, so that's good. That's great to hear that. Yeah, like you said, yeah, you go to those meetings, man, you really learn a lot. Now, Ying Ching has been a restaurant here in DeKalb for 44 years. So the restaurant is owned by husband and wife John Yin and Marilyn Yin. The other staff member, only one other staff member, was Marilyn's sister, Carolyn Zinger. John serves as the sole chef. Now, you've worked in a restaurant before, right, Dan? Imagine this. Worked as the sole chef while Marilyn managed the restaurant's finances and the paperwork and worked in front of the house. They served authentic Chinese food. John Yin began working for his family restaurant at the age of 10. You and I talk about work ethics, and I had my first job at 13 working at the hot dog place. You were out shucking corn, right? How old were you then?
I was probably 13.
Okay. This kid, 10 years old, was working in the kitchen. Ying began working in his family restaurant at 10, which made it a second nature for him to manage an entire kitchen on his own. We've had employees, she said, but over the years we realized it's easy just to do it ourselves. A lot of people feel that way. They opened on July 1st, 1986. We said we've had to buy everything used. She said we bought a refrigerator and furniture used. The ceiling we spent a lot of money on. So they had to get their establishment all established there. I confess to you that I was only there once. And when I came in, I found out they didn't serve any alcohol. And I'm afraid Becky and I got up and left there. But I know a lot of people have eaten there through the years. I mean, 44 years, for God's sakes.
Now, what do you order when you go to a Chinese restaurant?
Pork fried rice.
Okay.
One of my safe things I know I like there. I have
Okay.
no sense of adventure. And she would know everybody. They said they would come in. She'd know exactly what they ordered. She said, that's why I like to work my job, because I can learn English from the customers. I listen to everybody and teaches me how to speak English better. Yes, so they came over and established a business. Just that tremendous work ethic, Dan. Imagine that, him running the kitchen all by himself all those years, 44 years, running the kitchen by yourself. All you got to do is watch one of these cooking shows or a Restaurant Impossible and realize how many people back there, sous chefs and things. This guy was doing everything by himself. Now, they're going to be open until, that's past. The last day of business was December 31st. So God bless them there. But and hopefully they can relax a little too. I mean, if the couples that work that hard, hopefully they'll be able to kick back and relax a little bit.
Yeah. Wow. Nights and weekends and.
Oh, man, I opened 2 restaurants with 2 different couples, and both restaurants closed, and both couples got divorced because you can't, 24/7, I know you love your wife, but working with your wife and then the stress of the business, in both cases, it was just too much. And
Yeah.
And I should point out to people, most restaurants, 50% close in the first year, and then 50% of those close in the second year. So, starting a restaurant, man, that's a big crapshoot, boy.
Well, and it kind of takes over your life.
Yeah. Well, they were both living in both cases, they had an apartment above the restaurant. So they weren't even getting away from the restaurant ever.
Oh.
So, and it proved to be their demise, unfortunately. So, all right, what do you got there, my friend?
Okay. The Illinois Teachers Retirement System's unfunded ratio is going down, which is not a good thing in this case. The latest Illinois Auditor General report for the Teachers Retirement System received or released on Tuesday the total liability of $162 billion, with $77.3 billion on hand. So that makes the funding ratio 47%, which is up from 45% the previous year. Also released on Tuesday was an audit from the State University Retirement System, which is 45.5% funded. So,
Or dummy that down for us. Wait, what does that mean? So we're obviously, this is the teachers' pension fund we're talking about?
right, it's not fully funded.
Right.
40.
We just had Jeff Kiker will be our guest here in a couple of weeks on our podcast, and we're just talking about this. The fact that J.B. Pritzker will say, our governor will say that he has a balanced budget, but yet here's this pension debt just looming. Who was it? The former governor called it Squeezy the Pension Snake. I had a little series of videos with Squeezy the Pension Snake. But that's not going away, right? I mean, this is not a problem that's going to go away.
Well, the system needs an infusion of people to pay and to move here and pay taxes.
Right. That's what Jeff was saying. Yeah.
So,
It's a pretty basic plan, but really not that, but a little more difficult to. And that's why we're so blessed here in DeKalb County. We have all this, production going on, and we have, I think, over 100 housing starts here in DeKalb for the first time in like a decade, and so we're kind of the exception to the rule in this area. Sycamore's booming, Cortland's doing well.
right. But the state, it would help if it became more business friendly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we were talking about the regulations, just the amount of the hoops you got to jump through.
yeah. And now, of course, the Chicago Bears might be leaving the state of Illinois, for a more business friendly state.
Right, but that would just be tragic. And even moving to the suburbs would be ridiculous. But that's for another time. We'll save that one. This is a national story that's gone local. It just said a large group would gather at DeKalb's vigil to mourn a Minnesota woman who was fatally shot by ICE. Now, I was telling you off the air that our guest was supposed to be somebody from the React group. Now, they were the ones that had the No Kings protest at Hopkins Park. This is a different group where more than 100 people held candles, sang, and prayed together in English and Spanish at the Peace Corner in DeKalb on Friday night to mourn a woman who was killed by federal agents in Minnesota on Wednesday. So this was just a peaceful demonstration. Now, one of our guests that we've had on the show a couple times now, Veronica Garcia Martinez, said she was more hurt than angry and said that she believes self-deportations are becoming more prominent as aggression like that in Minnesota is seen. So a lot of people just returning on their own. Garcia Martinez said the objective of the event was to have 32 minutes of prayer in remembrance of 32 lives that have been lost while in ICE custody in 2025. I didn't realize that number was that high. So this was a peaceful demonstration.
Yeah.
Just more of a vigil,
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, it's sad, And they talk about the video captured from multiple angles, and the different interpretations of the video is what's just so fascinating to watch. Because here I'm like, well, we live in an age now where everything's on video, so there'd be no question of what happened. And yet there's all this question about whether she was attempting to run this individual down or not, and what happened beforehand, and just not pretty, but sad. We can all agree it's sad, that's for sure.
True. I mean, you don't want to see anyone get hurt,
No.
no matter what.
And in our country, where you're supposed to be allowed to protest, and Good was a U.S. citizen born in Colorado, was never charged with anything other than a single traffic ticket. Garcia Martinez called on the mayors of DeKalb, Cortland, and Sycamore to implement policies to protect the local immigrants community. Now, we had David Byrd on the show, the DeKalb police chief, and he said that they are not involved with them at all. They don't contact the DeKalb Police Department. They don't know what they're doing, and vice versa, right, ICE? So, again, that seems a little messed up. Law enforcement is barred under the Trust Act from participating in federal immigration action, but I went on to say that doesn't stop local fear. So that's where it stands right now. But again, it's just
I will say this. I got a buddy who's a police officer. If I were driving down the road and he and his colleagues were apprehending somebody, I tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't stop and say, "Hey, Joe, what's happening?" I would not get right in the middle of it.
No. But accountability, but you maybe would stand off to the side and videotape, and that's what she urges people to do, not to do what you said, not to get in the middle of it, but stay back, but document as best you can.
Right.
Because, I mean, your video, they say your camera, your phone is your best weapon in terms of documenting everything. But get out of the way, you see these people, I know they're pushing it, and, there's no reason to push it with these guys because a lot of them aren't really that well trained, and so I just shove a guy down the other day or shove a woman down.
Right. I'm pretty sure my buddy would look at me and say, "Hey, Dan, not a good time.
Right.
Get back in your car."
Right. All right, very good. All right, what do you got? Another story?
A couple more. Yeah. Average price of gas in Illinois has dropped to $2.90 or below $2.90 a gallon.
Yeah, how about that?
Which
When
is
you
a
see
moral
that under
victory.
3. Yeah.
Yep. According to the Automobile Association of America, the state's current average is $2.89 for unleaded. And so Illinois still has we're still the highest in the Midwest, and the land of Lincoln has the second highest gas tax in the nation.
Second highest. What, is Texas number one? Or California, right?
It's California.
California. Yeah, because they still spend like $5 a gallon. Yeah, it's exciting to see that. Now, I was wondering, too, because, a lot of, I know is drill, baby, drill, and we're going to get some of that sweet Venezuelan oil, too. But there's electric cars, too, right? That's got to help, right? The more electric cars on the road, obviously less demand for gasoline.
Right, and with the markets, I mean, it's all about the feeling. I mean, if people, if there's a vibe that
oil is plentiful, then
Oh yeah, remember that in the
helps.
'80s? We were having these little K cars, and they were building these little cars because we thought. Then all of a sudden, this glut of oil came, and that's when they came out with the Humvees. You know, once it gets 6 miles to the gallon, but nobody cared because we got plenty of oil. So what the hell? So,
Yeah.
I still see those Humvees. I can't believe that when I realize that it's like 5-6 miles to the gallon. But if you're affording the Humvee, I guess you don't care that you paid that much. DeKalb GameStop ceases operation following a mass store shutdown. But sounds dramatic. On Wednesday, the GameStop store in DeKalb, located at 2564 Sycamore Road, permanently closed its doors. Closure is part of a mass store shutdown by GameStop throughout the United States. Now, I know they were red hot at one point. It's amazing how quickly a business can go from kicking butt to sounds like they're shutting down a whole bunch of stores. You ever go to the GameStop? You got the kids gaming?
I'm not a gamer, so I wouldn't know. My nephew is.
Yeah.
And that was like the store.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
I mean, but this was 15 years ago. I don't know now.
Yeah, they just, January 7th, they permanently stopped doing that. Now, there's a place in downtown DeKalb called Fun and Store. I encourage people to check that place out. Really neat little store. And they got a bunch of gaming stuff in there. But
Okay.
So you never gamed. Did you do the,
I think I had a
PlayStation
Nintendo back in the 80s.
a Nintendo? Okay.
And I played Kung Fu and whatever, Rad Racer. But it didn't really stick. I wasn't that good at video games. I was the guy at the arcade. I put the quarter in, and I start playing the game, and within 12 seconds, the game was over.
Are you doing a lot? See, I can never tell. I've been playing with my grandkids, and then you're doing a lot of thumb stuff, but there's not a lot of skill, right? There's not a lot of skill involved, per se. Or is there? I guess so.
There might be some hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you do it over and over, you get better.
Well, they do say the military came clean and said that these video games are actually helping guys with their hand-eye coordination when it came to things like shooting guns and stuff. It really did help. So there's something to be said for that. All right, coming up here on a week from Monday, we're going to hear from the two candidates that are running from the DeKalb County Board District Number 5. Daniel Van Tilbury will be our first guest. We'll hear from him. And then the following week, we'll hear from Devin Wilcox of Cortland, both running as Democrats. District 5 covers Cortland, along with parts of DeKalb and Maple Park. So, yeah, I'm just tapping into the whole DeKalb County Board. Dan, we talked about it last show with so many members, 24 members. And this is just the only contended Democratic primary, which will be settled in March. And then we'll talk to the other candidate as well. But I'm going to see people running for office. But to me, it just seems overkill to have 24 different people representing DeKalb County. But apparently it's fairly efficient how they do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of office holders.
Yeah, right.
That's the model here. But many other counties, there are 5, 7, 3.
Yeah.
They call them commissioners.
Okay.
But
That's really neat. Yeah, we learned about the township on this show, and now I'm learning about the DeKalb County as well. So it's kind of neat. What else you got? You got another one?
I just have one more story, and
Okay.
I didn't really fine tune it yet, but
us the gist of it.
47-year-old Mikola is his first name, Myosik from Chicago. Got busted for illegal transporting of cigarettes. Okay, he was on
Really?
the interstate trucking down I-88 heading east, and the police officer pulled him over because the police he was speeding, but also he had a bunch of tarps in the back of his Jeep covering up some stuff. He told the police, "Oh, these are just toys for kids." But the police saw some cigarettes. There were gobs and gobs and gobs of cartons of cigarettes. I think it was 107,000 cigarettes were being transported from Burlington, Iowa. I didn't get them. I don't know where he was heading. But this is illegal. I guess there's these excise taxes on smokes.
Right. So we're just talking about all the bad taxes here in Illinois, and that's probably part of the reason why they're bringing this in to avoid the big Illinois tax. Because what is it, like $7.50 a pack now?
Boy, I wouldn't know, but so he's facing 2 felony charges of unlawful transportation of cigarettes with intent to evade tax.
Okay. So it's a felony charge, though, huh?
Yeah, is this like when Kramer was trying to take aluminum cans from New York to Ohio?
He was trying to get the recycling there with. Emmett Newman there.
He was his margin.
The margin, it wouldn't balance out.
But they asked him how much he was getting paid. He told them $500 for the run. But the 47-year-old was taken to DeKalb County Jail. This was on January 8th.
You don't hear cigarettes being imported very often. That's a great story. All right, the NIU Observatory. Now, again, this is something I've always meant to do and never have. But for folks that don't know, this is an NIU Observatory on the campus of NIU. Constructed in the early 1960s, the observatory at NIU has been used for public and student outreach, allowing them to admire countless planets, stars, and galaxies. It's located in Davis Hall. The observatory has multiple telescopes visitors can use to view the night sky. Now, the current hours are from 6 to 8 on Wednesday nights. However, that may change due to the rising of the sun. The observatory has multiple events throughout the year, including a trip to Yerkes Observatory in Lake Geneva, the lunar eclipse viewing on March 3rd at the NIU Observatory. Visiting the observatory is free and does not require any form of registration. Updates and incoming events will be found at their Facebook page. Now, have you ever done that? Because you should bring the kids over there and do that.
Yeah, they would like that.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I remember the planetarium in Chicago. Do you remember that?
Oh, we used to smoke the weed and go to the planetarium, and because you sit in these big comfy chairs and you look up at the ceiling. It was the coolest thing in the world. That was great. Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, we have it right in our own backyard. So just going over there. You know the building. If you go in there, is that the main entrance to NIU there, where the two pillars are and everything? Is that the?
Oh, maybe.
Is that what? So you go in the main entrance and it's right there. You're staring right at it there. That's the observatory.
Now, can you see Orion's Belt or the Big Dipper when you're staring up at the sky in the summertime?
Yeah, I can in my backyard. Yeah. So we don't have too much light pollution. How about where you're at? Can you?
Yeah. I could always point out those constellations.
Yeah, it's the only ones I know. No. All right, community calendar brought to you by your friends at Stagecoach Players Theater. Now, next week, we're going to be giving away tickets to Gypsy. Again, go to stagecoachplayers.com to get your tickets. You can always call over at 815-758-1940. If nobody's there, you can leave a message and reserve your tickets there. Now, do you know Gypsy? I don't know the story at all. Do you know that? We're going to have the...
No, I thought it was a Stevie Nicks tribute band. But...
No, or is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Are you? No, this is that would be at the Egyptian Theater. This is the... Or that would be at, the Egyptian Theater. This is at the Stagecoach Players Theater. Gypsy is the play. Now, the Egyptian Theater has the Clash of the Tribute Bands. We joked about that. That's going to be tomorrow night. But the Monkees now, the Monkey Men, I was telling my wife, I love Monkees. I love their music. My sister had all their albums back in the day.
Okay. Because I was asking my sister.
And,
my sister saw them in the 80s.
Oh, really?
87 when they made their comeback.
When they made their comeback, yeah.
But I think, are they all deceased now?
Oh, yeah, this is all, I think, Michael Nesmith just passed away. And
Davy Jones passed away.
Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz is still alive, I think.
Oh, okay. Boy, their sound was really good.
It really was. We had some friends that we would imitate them, and everybody always wanted to be, we'd lip sync, and everybody always wanted to be Davy Jones, and then I was Peter Tork, and I was always crying. I remember Peter Tork was always crying all the time, but it was always interesting to find out. I guess Michael Nesmith was an actual musician. He played the guitar, and Peter Tork also. Mickey Dolenz, I guess, learned the drums.
I thought Davy Jones was a good singer.
Yeah, he was an actor before he did that.
Okay, well,
they had auditions for that show, the TV show. Yeah, and
that was a boy band, wasn't it?
Right. They're the first boy band. Yeah, and boy, they did well. Now, Winter Dance Party. I have this poster. Have you ever seen the poster of the day the music died? It was the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and Buddy Holly. And my stepson has got me a big poster of this one, of the original poster of the not the original. Replica of the original poster of the night they were supposed to, the night they played, right? And they were taking the plane trip to the next gig. And that's when and of course, the great story about Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings was a member of the Crickets with Buddy Holly. And they flipped a coin who was going to have room to either fly in a plane or travel in the cold bus. And Waylon Jennings lost the flip and went in the bus. And that, of course, then the plane crashed. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of them. Otis Redding in Madison.
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner, sadly. But
was it Connie Francis or one of the big female singers in the 60s died in a plane crash, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Nelson.
Oh, Ricky Nelson, his own plane, yeah.
In the 80s. John Denver.
John Denver, right. Wow.
But the surf ballroom is still around in Mason City, Iowa.
Is that right?
Yeah, or maybe it's in Clear Lake. It's I was outside of it.
Now that's where they were going, or where they were coming from?
They had just played at the surf ballroom.
Just played there. Okay.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then they were heading, snowy night, and
Yeah. Well, that story about Waylon Jennings flipping the coin, whether to go. And whether
wow.
And he lost, but yet he won. I mean, it's crazy. Other stuff coming up. We mentioned this last week. Dinosaur Dimensions at the Sandwich experienced a full-size, gigantic dinosaurs animatronicon woven into an hour-long multimedia show at the Sandwich Opera House from 7 to 8 p.m. on Friday, January 6th, and 2 to 3 on Saturday, January 7th there. So check that out. Winterfest in Genoa. Bring the family to Russell Woods in Genoa for Winterfest. Runs 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Enjoying hikes, scavenger hunts, birding tips, and more. You ever bird watch at all?
No, it's lovely to see a hummingbird out the window. That's really, I'm sure that's good for my stress cortisol.
I believe it, yeah. I have a whole new appreciation for birds. I'm walking around my neighborhood, and the hummingbird is especially an amazing bird. Classic tribute band Journey verse 4. I mentioned that Winter Farmers Market in Sycamore. Shop for tea, honey, wool, and more at the Sycamore Winter's Farmer Market from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday. In the greenhouse at the former Carefree Flower location. Okay. And Paint and Sip. The DeKalb Public Library will host a relaxing event on Saturday from 2 to 4. All ages are welcome. Now, for my birthday one year, my wife got me there's a place where you go and you drink wine and you paint. Now, we did, and I'm like, I was not really excited about it, to be honest with you. But, I don't know, you ever paint at all? Once you start doing it, it's like, this is all right. Not that I would do it on a regular basis, but...
I just Christmas time. We painted these little ornaments with my children. Yeah, it was fun.
That's great.
It was something to do other than looking at my phone.
No, it's scary. Now let's take a look at sports again. We always like to try to feature one team every sportscast, and this is a great matchup. Canelan versus Sycamore in boys basketball. They had a great battle. Canelan ended up winning 65-56. There, Marshawn Crocroft, finished with 18 points and 7. He is a stud over there at Canelan. Sycamore is 14-2, 2-1 in the Interstate 8. They have a kid, Dan, Canelan does, who's Canelan's undefeated, 15-0, 3-0 in conference play. 6'9", Freddie Hassan. He had 13 points and 8 rebounds. This kid can jump, too. So he's 6'9", and his cousin or his brother, I forget which one, another Hassan, who was like 6'10". So they got the Twin Towers over there in Canelan, and they're undefeated right now. So wishing them the best. Although Canelan would be third on my list. The Canelan Knights, yes. I can turn that off. I have a Bears trivia, too, here. We were talking about the Bears off the air. Oh, don't tell me I lost that. Well, I'll ask because I remember without even looking at it. What Bears quarterback threw a touchdown on his very first pass as a quarterback for the Bears? I want to say it was 2013, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Oh, here, I got it right here. I can tell you exactly what year it was. Yeah. Threw a touchdown pass on his first career postseason pass attempt. A 58-yarder to Greg Olson. Does that help you? And a 35-24 win over the Seahawks.
Oh.
In the blank NFC division playoff game. What year was that? And who was the quarterback?
I would say the quarterback was probably Jay Cutler.
Nice. Very good.
And the year, oh boy, 2011?
2010. You're right there.
Okay.
So how about that? Jay Cutler threw a touchdown pass, his very first postseason pass. How about that? You forget how good he was. I mean, Cutler had a gun. He really...
Yeah, he sure did.
But
his body language was horrible.
Yeah. But his antics off the field just mismanaged how he could have been a star. He could have made oodles of money doing endorsements, but he just was a jerk the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So what do you think? We talked about the Bears now. Again, the Bears play against the Rams.
I don't believe in bear weather.
I know. Well, in LA too, it really makes you want to believe it because I'm like, come on, LA.
That all died
and
when Jerry Rice and Joe Montana just destroyed the Bears in the NFC Championship, maybe 87 or 88, 28-3. I think it was 6 degrees at Soldier Field.
So much for that theory.
Ditka and the Bears, they walked in and they just got embarrassed at Soldier Field. It was Very painful.
All right. Well, thank you. They see you remember the bad stuff. Let's take a look at the obituaries again. We love to do this here. This gentleman's fascinating. Stephen Scott served 4 years in the U.S. Navy Aviation as a crew member of the PBY amphibious airplane during World War II. Steve was 98 years young when he passed, attended Northern Illinois University, academic honors, met his wife, Marjorie Moore, while in college. 3 kids, Jeffrey, Maddie, Marty, and Susan. After a career in the furniture industry, he owned his own trucking company as well. Woodworking and gardening, he had 70 rose bushes. Loved to fish for salmon in Lake Michigan. Was a Boy Scout scoutmaster. And did the Fishing with Veterans organization was something he thoroughly enjoyed. He was recently honored by various veteran groups and featured in the news. And he was adored by his beloved cats, Kachera, Olivia, and Cy. Now, you're a history buff, too. You remember these amphibious airplanes that they had in World War II? I mean, they were just figuring that out, how to land on the water and stuff. Man, just amazing. He was in there getting it done, so God bless him. 98 years young. God bless.
What a life.
Stephen Scott, I know, and probably never talked about, probably never even told the kids about what he did and how close to death he probably came. Willard Bill Clausen of Sycamore, was 90 years old. Was born to Willard and Rose Clausen of Sycamore. Bill spent his childhood in Sycamore, then moved to Washington. Bill served as a corporal in the United States Marine at Camp Pendleton and China Lakes, California. That sounds like, China Lakes, California? I'd like to live there.
No,
nice place. No. Returned to Sycamore, Bill met his wife, Marge, on a blind date. Now, that's our third obit that we've done where couples met on a blind date. How about that? They met on a blind date at Billy Graham's Crusade in Chicago.
Wow.
What a story there. How would you meet your man? Well, we happened to be at a Billy Graham Crusade in Chicago. They got married December 7th, 1963. He was an active charter member of the Bethany Baptist Church, which today is the Bethany Road Bible Church in DeKalb. Happily served as a Sunday school bus driver, song leader, and basketball, softball leagues. Bill was often seen walking or riding his bike through the Sycamore neighborhood. Later, he became a Sycamore School District bus driver as well. So, idle hands, I just about to turn 66, and I am now semi-retired is the way I like to think of it, boy. But you see these people that work into their 80s and 90s, it's so impressive. And I think that's what helps keep them alive.
True. Yeah.
A lot of older people you see, they have this work ethic, and they continue to do things well, look at the lady from the Ying Chings there working 44 years.
Yeah.
Running the front of the house by herself. I can't believe that. And finally, Major Marjorie Lyons, a lifelong resident of Mayfield Township. She farmed with her husband for many years, talented seamstress who designed and made her own wedding gown and later clothes for herself and for her children. Now, my wife was in the 4-H, and she made a dress one year. I always tease her about that, but made her own clothes. You even know how to start to make your own clothes?
I would be.
Are you sewing it all?
I'd be wearing robes.
She later made her own cosmic wedding gown and clothes for herself and children. Later worked with her daughter in an interior design store for several years. She won first place in the 4-H for her California Closet as a teenager. Now, wasn't that California Closet? Isn't that like a nationwide, where they organize your closets? Isn't that California Closet? She loved oil painting. As a teenager, she worked at the Henderson's department store in Sycamore and became a full-time homemaker after marrying Clinton Lyons on September 20th, 1950. Today, they framed and operated an electronic repair business. At her husband's death in 1982, she went back to work at Walmart and the Honey Girl dress shop in DeKalb. She loved dogs, especially her collies, and owned several throughout her lifetime. So another amazing lady there, too. And again, that work ethic, too, going back to work at the Walmart and the Honey Girl dress shop, after she lost her husband.
What a lady.
Man, that's amazing stuff. So again, it's sad that we only can acknowledge these folks after they're gone, but we're thrilled to be able to get to acknowledge these folks because it's just amazing. I've been paying Dan, quote unquote, for helping me do this here with these books, and I just read this one. I guess I read them all. This is about the Mayo Clinic and the Mayo brothers. I always wonder why Mayo Clinic was up there in Minnesota, right? And I'm like, why is it up there? That's where these boys were from, and I didn't realize there were two Mayo brothers.
Yeah.
And the father, and how it all got started. But what a fascinating story. These Mayo, they watched their dad operate when they were little kids. They were like 8 and 9 watching dad operate on people and figured out how to get rid of how they sterilize the instruments and stuff. Just an amazing story. So, again, and it's the value of sharing. They shared all the knowledge that they had. And I didn't realize the Mayo Clinic brought other doctors in from all over the world, to teach them how to be better doctors. Just
Right, and of course it's still there in Rochester.
Yeah, I saw an ad. I could remember turning to Becky and going, the Mayo Clinic doesn't have to advertise, right? Because that's the place to go. But it was an ad. I don't know if you saw that one. With the guys with his son, and they go through, a bucket list of surfing and stuff. And then the last stop is the Mayo Clinic there.
Oh, okay. There's a Mayo Clinic also in Phoenix now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so those are the two big ones.
All right. It was neat to find out the background there. So that's really good. All right. Now, this date in history, of course, time now for our birthday list brought to you by our friends at DeKalb County History Center. You can go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org, find out all the cool stuff going on. There's always neat stuff going on. Our friend Michelle Donahoe over there does a fantastic job. And, of course, they send us over this date in history. Now, this is different than the one you see in the midweek, which is always great to read that. But this is one that we get exclusively for the T.D. Ryan Unleashed program. And they do it in three segments: way old, then mid-old, and then somewhat current. This week, in January 13th, January 1861, the Sandwich Agricultural Institute voted to purchase 20 acres of land of J. Dixon, lying 3/4 of a mile west of the village, to mark the beginning of what, Dan? What is that area?
I don't know.
The Sandwich Fairgrounds. That's where the Sandwich Fairgrounds. So they started back there in 1861 as the Sandwich Agricultural Institute. They bought that property and was it 20 acres? I did not realize it was that big. January 20, 1912, an executive committee combined the DeKalb County Farmers Institute, the DeKalb County Bankers Association, and the DeKalb County Newspapermen Association in a new group, incorporated the name DeKalb County Soil Improvement Association. That was the first farm organization and what is now known as, Dan?
Farm Bureau?
Yes, the DeKalb County Farm Bureau. So that's how they started there. And finally, a busing problem arose at the new Clinton Rosette Middle School. The new driveway, we're just talking about the new driveway at the newly built building, opened about 2 weeks ago, was some distance from the old building. 41 students who have been bused from were now slightly too close to be eligible, while 38 students who had not been far enough to be bused were now eligible to be bused. Parents presented the signed petition January 19, 1976. Board of Education meeting asked the busing continued unchanged through the end of the school year. Yeah, that's the irony, right? You live close to school. If you're close enough, they're going to say, well, you don't take the bus, right? Because you're not far enough away.
Okay, right. I think it's within a mile or 2 miles.
Yeah, now I went to Queen of All Saints, so we lived in Lincolnwood, and so we were the furthest away, so we were the first ones picked up in the morning, and the last ones dropped off in the afternoon. Still bitter to this day about that. But your kids homeschooled, you don't have to deal with the busing, right?
Right. And then when they do running club and wrestling, they just walk over to they're within walking distance of their school.
Yeah, that's great. Now, when you and I were let go, as it were, over there, I was looking at all kinds of different jobs, and one of the ones they had was to be a bus monitor. And I thought maybe 30 seconds about doing that, and then I said no. Maybe for little tiny kids, but I'm not getting on a bus and with some ruly teenagers and try to play the heavy. And did you see that when you were looking for employment there? Do you think about doing that? 'Cause,
no, I didn't.
It's so part-time. I mean, just the bus ride to school and the bus ride home.
Yeah.
But I wasn't signing up for that, to be honest with you. I was a little reluctant to do that. So,
the bus driver job pays well,
well, it should.
and there's always things going on. I mean, there are wrestling meets.
Oh, that's true. And then they got to hang there. They got to hang in the bus for a couple hours until it's time to go home.
Right.
Yeah,
That actually is pretty lucrative.
that's right.
But a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I know of a guy, well, it happens. You have to make sure all the kids are off the bus. Let's say you haul the kids to St. Charles for a meet. And if a kid falls asleep on the bus.
Yeah, there were cases of that where they found the kid. Well, we had that here in DeKalb. We had that. Remember the young man, they found the young child on the bus. His dad had put one of those tracking devices on his backpack.
Oh, really?
And that's how they knew where he was. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. Or that was the wrong bus.
Remember that? The rap.
Yeah. But you can. I was looking at these job descriptions, TD. One mistake like that, you lose your job.
Yeah. And you come
Immediately.
back either, right?
So
Yeah.
it's that's a tough. I applaud the people who do that.
Oh, I give them immense respect. Yeah, right there with you. All right, we always do our the news quiz. Dan's going to formulate a question here, and again, not this week, but next week we'll have 2 tickets to go see Gypsy at the latest performance at the Stagecoach Players Theater. We do, however, have a pretty good alternative, and that is a deluxe car wash from Ralph's Full Service Car Wash and Detail Center, a $35 value. Plus, we have two gift certificates to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more. I just had a sausage and onion from Pizza Villa last night, just fantastic there. So we want to thank John Finn for being our sponsors. Now, we've only done this a few times, and we've had a handful of our winners. We've only had a handful of winners. So the people that have won already, we ask you to please let somebody else win at this point, because we've had 3 or 4 people that have won, and they call again, and we want to reward them. But we want to get fresh people get rewarded for doing the news quiz. Real quickly, birthday, we have Jessica Talley have a birthday tomorrow. Tricia Huber will have a birthday in Roscoe on the 20th, and Jared Brown of Oregon will have a birthday on the 21st. So again, if you've won before, please let somebody else win. So here we go. Dan, what do you got for a...
Okay. So TJ, we already know what you're giving away.
That's right. Yeah, TJ shared that already. That's right.
Okay, there was a gentleman who got caught. He was hauling some merchandise from Burlington, Iowa to the Chicagoland area. All right, it was valued at between $120,000 and $180,000, and there were 201,400 of these items that he was hauling in the back of his Jeep.
All right, if you know what those items are, you contact us at tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. Again, tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. So come on, somebody's going to win this. So to give it a shot, if you've never tried this before, contact us at tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. And we thank our other winners from before, but again, we're trying to share the wealth here, and we want to thank our friends, of course, from Ralph's Car Wash and Pizza Villa as well, and Tim Ball and the gang over at Stagecoach. We're excited about giving those tickets away to Gypsy. And we're excited about the Bears playing on site. You know, irony of irony. I told you, the first Bears game there, our family had scheduled a dinner, and so we rescheduled. We just all got together and watched the game, which was one of the best things we ever did. But now this Sunday, my wife had got me tickets to go see Jerry Seinfeld at the Paramount Theater Sunday night at 7 o'clock. So early in the week, I'm praying that the Bears will be the first game, and of course they switched it, and now the Bears will be the second game. So I'm going to attempt to videotape or record it. I have a TV where it has that. I recorded the news last night, so I know I can do it. So Becky's like, are you going to try to not find out what happened during the game, or are you going to get... I have a feel a lot of people at the Seinfeld concert could care about what's going on with the Bears, but...
Wait, what time does the Bears game start?
5:30, right when we're leaving to go to this thing.
Okay.
I mean, the timing couldn't be any worse for us, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime. I always wanted to see Jerry Seinfeld. He's always been my favorite stand-up comedian, and this is a one-time. He's doing this as a charity for the Paramount. So,
Wow, what a gift.
yeah, I know. Wasn't that great? She didn't realize the Bears would be in the playoffs. To say it. So,
I don't blame her.
what do you got?
I wasn't expecting it either.
Do you got the family getting together for the game, or what are you doing there?
I'm glad it starts early, actually, for me, because the previous game I fell asleep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, it was 21-3.
Yeah, I was talking to another girl who did the same thing. She fell asleep, and then she woke up and said, oh, my God, the Bears won.
Yeah, but I've had fun watching them this year, and it's fun. A playoff game is fun, especially in the NFL, because it's
especially another home game,
true.
But I heard that they got more money for that game last week than they're getting for this one, because Bears Green Bay postseason, they get any better than that. So.
True.
But they're still getting a fair amount for tickets now.
If the Schmohawks fall to the 49ers, then they'll play the Niners at
Yeah.
home.
Oh, they'd be home again, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would love to see Brock Purdy get knocked on his...
Oh, me too. He really stuck it to the Bears, too. And then I watched him in the game against Philadelphia, whatever, and he was just terrible. I mean, he couldn't run at all. He ran
really?
all over the Bears, yeah.
Oh,
God, he was
they
picking up
destroyed the Bears.
first downs left and right. All right, Dan, you take care of the family. Go Bears, right? Any prediction? You want to get a score prediction on that?
I think the Rams are going to win.
Oh, no. All right, you're on the record.
To be honest with you, I don't think the Bears can beat the Rams. The Rams are, They're not a powerhouse, but the Bears have really.
Yeah, the D gives up those big, long.
Yeah,
passes.
the Bears don't have the defense.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and they had some key injuries in this last game.
Yeah, they did.
So
Yeah, they lost the
Trapillo
linebacker. Yeah, that was bad.
and Edwards.
Yeah. All right, well, good. All right, good for
What's
you.
your prediction?
I like the Bears squeaking it out. I know a close one. I 24-21 Bears.
All right,
So
here's hoping.
here's open. Our big thanks to our sponsors. We're really grateful. Big thanks to our listeners. We thank you so much for doing that, too. And big thanks to my nephews, Ethan and Michael Davis, for making this happen. And that's TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 31.